Can't wait.
It's going to be a great time. The girls are so excited. So Shelly's making us reservations to Hamburger Mary's.
Wait,
what?
I thought we were doing jockey.
Oh, included.
This is all one night?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Lord. Jesus.
I know. Hello and welcome to the 18th episode of Little Did I Know podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Parks.
And I'm your other host, Shauna Zolman-Mahaley. Little Did I Know is a place where two friends share our journeys through life, the good and the bad, while never losing our laughter.
If you want to hear more episodes, you can find us at stephandshauna.com or at Little Did I Know on Facebook and Instagram. Here we go again, our weekly fun fact. So this fun fact actually falls into our episode.
Perfect.
Because I'm getting good at this.
You promised greatness in this fun fact, so I'm waiting.
You know, it is. So we're going to talk about like dreams and passions and goal setting, right?
Correct.
The next couple episodes that we're going to do. And this falls right in it. So did you know that there is a world record category for running marathons dressed as objects?
Funny you ask. No.
Did you know? Again, little did I know.
This is a perfect little did I know moment right here.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
There is. And so there is a fella. His name is Lucas Bates, and he just ran the London Marathon with like a Big Ben, the clock tower,
Oh, yeah.
the Big Ben as the Big Ben mascot.
That's not very aerodynamic.
So he ran it.
Good
He
job,
got
Lucas.
into a little bit of trouble because when he was going to cross the finish line, Big Ben was high and it almost knocked him over. He had to have runners come and tilt him under so he could reach and go through the finish line.
Hashtag goal setting. Good job, Lucas.
Okay, so here's what you get to know. He ran it in, let me see his time. This guy is no joke. You know, I've said, like, I would love to do, like, the Royals game when they do the hot dogger race. Like, I would love to do it because you're dressed up like that, right?
Yeah, that's
and
for
you're
my
only
arena.
running, like, 100-yard dash, right? This fella ran an entire marathon. He finished the race in 3 hours and 54 minutes and 21 seconds.
I couldn't do that without Big Ben.
However, he did not break the record. Because Richard Meitz, who ran the 2018 Berlin Marathon dressed as the Holsteiner Gate in Germany, he actually ran it faster.
Those Germans.
Okay. But let me tell you this. The story doesn't end there, okay?
Okay.
So our fella Lucas, right? He then goes to celebrate at a London pub, which, right? I can't imagine celebrating any other way. And he was celebrating at the Old Shades pub near the Trafalgar Square, which Christian Dior makes a Trafalgar eyeshadow. It's beautiful.
Oh,
I know
there you
exactly
go.
where that's at. Yep. And with his 10-foot costume, right?
10 foot!
No, that's how tall
Oh
it
my
was. That joker did that. But listen to this. 2 thieves ran away with his costume from the bar.
Did they beat him up and strip him?
Nope. It says Mr. Bates said he is not angry about the theft, but would like the costume back so it could be auctioned for charity.
What a nice man.
So little did I know that there is a world record category of running a marathon as a landmark. It's a thing.
I think we just put the end at the beginning here. So like, you don't even need to come up with another little did I know. Because that's fantastic. But there's so many in there. And the fact that Big Ben didn't even win it. It was the German guy.
Which I think, since, you know, Big Ben was so tall, I think that probably was a hindrance. A little bit of lag, maybe.
But 10 foot? How do you even get into a pub wearing that sucker?
Listen, I don't know. There's so many things that I want to know more about. But yeah, that's a thing. So fun fact.
You could make a movie out of that. Netflix, if you're listening, Netflix documentary, please do this world record race.
Maybe they do. I don't know. But there you go, folks.
I would watch.
I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't.
You're right.
Yeah.
Crinkle in my brain.
Okay, here we go. The year I turned 40, my life was upended. My marriage was spiraling out of control, my heart was shattered, and I was suffering through the loss of my grandpa, and my aunt was terminally ill. I had 4 children who were dealing with the trauma in 4 totally different ways, and I was left to navigate this season scared and alone. Add to the already long list of traumas, I had to decide what my next life steps were going to be. Thankfully, in the midst of the fog, I knew that I wanted to do something with passion and purpose. I didn't want to just punch a clock while I was now providing for my kids, paying rent, all with an unseen future. So my story restarted in 2014. I put myself through aesthetic school. I have always loved everything about being a girl and was a cosmetologist since I graduated from high school. Skincare, makeup, anti-aging, all of these things were in my wheelhouse at that moment. And so was self-care and female empowerment. Aesthetics just made the most sense.
On the other hand, I was a professional athlete. I had achieved almost every dream I set for myself and was obnoxiously driven. I grew up setting short and long-term goals. That was just the norm for me. I knew what it was like to fail, to succeed. I knew that because everything I set out to do was measurable. Not always attainable, but it was measurable. I was part of that 1%, the 3% who plays D1 sports, and then the 1% who goes on and plays professionally. I got engaged one day, drafted to play in the WNBA the next. Life was hard. It was hard work, but it was really good. Then the affairs, then the surgeries, 4 years in a row. All I knew was unraveled and taken. My world was flipped upside down. I didn't know who I really was anymore. But let's start there. If you don't know who you are, then you can't answer the next most important question. Why? What's your why or your purpose in this life? Your why can change from season to season, but who you are, the identity of who God created you to be, never changes. I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know who I was alone and without basketball. I didn't know what my why was anymore. I couldn't set a goal because I didn't know what I wanted to achieve and anything I wanted that wasn't measurable. So I had a choice, and everyone has a choice. You can choose to stay the victim, or you can choose to move on and change your life. I didn't want to stay where I was. I was caught. I was trapped. Nothing to shoot for. I chose to start over, literally. A new city, a new community, new source of income, even if it was unemployment for a little while. I knew I wanted to help set people free, but I also didn't want a 9-to-5 job.
We have said...
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. You want to go, or do you want me to go?
You're good.
Me? Okay. We have said this in almost every Little Did I Know episode. We know that our stories of divorce may not be your story. We have heard from so many people who have different stories than ours, and we love that. Again, whatever season you find yourself in, we hope that this podcast encourages and challenges you. Today, we're going to talk through a few steps that can help you navigate through finding your passions. Now, we are fully aware that our transition happened because life gave us no other option. Looking back, I can see the blessing in the dark season allowed me to combine my career with my passion. We just want to talk about passions today. It could be refining your passions in your career, finding a hobby that you are passionate about, maybe finding your brave step in creating a non-for-profit.
And I think...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would also want to add in there, too, that oftentimes when you go through pain or real life, quote unquote, just life in general, that automatically gives you another element as you fight through that wisdom. It gives you discernment. It gives you an opportunity to really grow and mature. And as you
Yeah.
do that, like you're changing, right? You as your person is changing. And therefore, like your passions, the things that you look for, the things that you pursue after are going to change. And I read in a book last week that literally ages 30 to 60, there's like the second phase of your life of passions.
Yeah.
It's your second passion. And so it's not like you're not alone if you're kind of floundering through life. I think that's a quote unquote midlife crisis type thing. But to float through life and you're like, I once loved doing this, but now I have no idea what to do. It could be after kids. It could be empty nesters. It could be you lost your job. It could be life situations that happen. There's this transition in life of what were you passionate about, but now what are you currently passionate about? And I think that's kind of where we want to start today, because our previous passions, I'm not passionate about basketball anymore. I'm just not. You're not passionate about what you once were passionate about. It may still be there as a part of it, but it's kind of redirecting, right? So that's kind of where we want to start and pick up today, of not just the wanting to make sure that you know that you're not alone when you're trying to refine or figure out what your new passions are. That's a normal thing, and we're both in that stage. But how to do that, how we did that. Not that we have all of the answers again, or not that we are going to write a book after this episode of the X, Y, and Z of how to create your passions. But this is just kind of our process of what we're doing to refine that for ourselves.
And maybe even just, like how we say all the time, like if we were sitting down having a cup of coffee and having those conversations, like maybe it's even our words being that encouragement and giving you permission to dream dreams again.
Yeah, exactly.
Really dig in there and really just do some self-examination and discovery, which we're going to talk about. But again, we are not life coaches professionally. I'm just saying we all have gifts and talents. But so this conversation is just geared to, we want to be the ones who say, dream about it. Be brave.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you start, Shauna, and I'll just jump in.
Okay. So one of the things that is very helpful and very beneficial is making a list of things that truly matter to you, such as your family, your health, your hobbies, right? Part of this journey of finding your passions is becoming more and more self-aware of what you really enjoy. And there was a simple exercise even that my husband shared with me when I was even trying to look for a job. Like when I was out of sports ministry, I tried to find myself in a business setting. So I was trying to figure out, like, do I even want a job, like a job, a 9-to-5 business world job? So I was pursuing after all of these different interviews with companies and people that I knew. And in this process, I'm like, I don't even know what to search for. I don't even know not just what company to pursue after, but what position to pursue after. So he had me do something very practical and tangible that was just a simple needs and wants list. So it's like, what do I need in a job? Like non-negotiable, this has to be a part of it versus a wants. If this is an added benefit, great, but it's not something that's going to make or break. So for you, like, what are some of the things that truly, truly matter? Your non-negotiables, the things that you need versus, and that can be people, that can be things, that can be time, that can be, and then versus what do you want? Like, what are some things that could be good, but not essential?
So this kind of came out because when I was restarting my life after my divorce, I did not actually have a lot of time for needs and wants and tra-la-la. It was get it done, like I said earlier, like pay your rent, get things done. And so I looked at my life at that point of like, how can I get from starting out, like really restarting my entire life again at 40. And then what's this trajectory look like? Being on that side of age, ageism is a thing. It doesn't have to define us, but it's a thing. And so in the beauty industry, knowing that, it just is what it is. It's competitive. It is what it is. Where I finally was able to grow in my career and figure a couple things out. So a couple non-negotiables for me is I cannot have somebody own my time. I feel really trapped and I feel very controlled when I have to have when somebody else owns my time.
Yeah.
So I can say confidently now, I can't do that. So
You tried it. You tried.
I actually did it,
Yeah.
and I submitted to that, and I
That's part of the process. Is put yourself out there. You find out quickly what you don't like.
I think a lot of discovery isn't just saying like, this is what I want. It's actually being like, I actually know what I don't want.
Yeah, very much so.
And so, funny story, Tucker and I were in an Uber this weekend, and great Uber driver. And I said, he has 5 stars. You don't always get a 5-star Uber driver. And so I just said, I'm actually going to compliment him on that because that's a big deal. And so we did. And he just kind of told me his story. He came from a corporate setting and all of this. And he said, I found out that he goes, we live in this mentality of this is what it looks like to have to work in corporate America. You have to do this. It always looks like this. And he said, we actually don't live in that mentality. That is a generational mentality. And if you think about it, that's really true.
I was going to make that point because like even just the thought of having a conversation about finding a job that you're passionate about, that would not have been the case. And even if you say this probably to your grandparents, parents and or grandparents, it's like that doesn't matter. What matters is that you provide for your family and you put meat on the table and that you do this. It doesn't matter if you like what you're doing, right? And I think that is a generational thing. Like now it's more about what you're passionate about, what you enjoy doing. And I couldn't do that.
We have some forerunners before us who have kind of changed up this occupational stereotypical mold for us. And so, and I think it's because where we are with technology, where we can get worldwide, we can get connected, like even just us right now, like there's all of these other things that allow us to do that the generations before us didn't have that. Yep. So in this growth of where we're at, it also allows us to think differently. You know what I mean? Like it opens up our world to us. And so, and he said, I choose to Uber. He said, that means that I have to pay my own insurance, but I also, like he said, I get to take my kids to the 3-hour movie this weekend. Yeah. And I'm like, good. Like I get that. And so that's for me, that's my non-negotiable is I need to have some control of my time.
Yeah. I watched that 3-hour movie this weekend too. It was phenomenal.
Tatum loved it so much. She explained it because, she is a detailed girl. She explained it to me so much that we watched the previous one yesterday and we're going to go to the movies and watch it together because now I'm invested.
See?
Yeah.
I know. Now we'll have something else to talk about. It's funny.
I might nap. I don't know.
You'll probably get 2 REM cycles in a 3-hour movie.
I might. Okay. So the other thing about where I am for passion is, I need to make an investment. I need to make a personal investment and a professional investment to where it has to matter to me, to where, I joke all the time about like, I could be a barista and I would really love that. I still want to do that. It's just an investment for me. And so, but the thing that I would say like is my dream is to be able to sit and empower a female. Doesn't matter if we are, horizontal in our places or vertical, doesn't matter. But I want to empower to be like, you were created to do this. You be awesome at this, dream big dreams. And for it to be reciprocal in that
how did you get to that point? How did you get to that point where you know that you want to empower women?
Because I personally needed it. And so, the saying is, if you don't have somebody, you be somebody.
Yep, that's good.
And so that's where that came from.
And that's another good point. That's another great point because sometimes we look at what am I passionate about? And then how does that translate into the business world? How does that translate into nonprofit world? How does that translate into what's already established? But just what you said, that it might not be just something you're passionate about. It's what did you need? Like, what did you want? What did you wish you had? And then how does that even translate? Because that's part of your passion.
Absolutely.
It's very true how you can get to that from point A to point B in that. Keep going.
And just to round it off, because it's, I'm just a simple girl. But mine is also this. So that's the internal side of, I want to have that empowerment internally, but also like I have come to this place to where I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm not in a shame part of it. I like being a girl. I like all the things about being a girl. So if it is a fun lipstick, I want to talk about it. I want to be a part of that. All of the girl things, to where I've always been the girly girl. And it wasn't always something that everybody around me wanted to embrace as much as I wanted to embrace. And so I was always that girl, like the girl who has to fix her hair, or, whatever that needs to look like. And so I like that part. Like I just had a really huge conversation yesterday, and I just said straight up, I like being a girl. And I like what comes with it. I really do. So you know what I could never do is be a mechanic. I could never. They were talking about on the news, this person was changing a tire, and it said it looked like in the middle of changing a tire, she got hit by a car, but actually it ended up being a murder. And I told Tom, I said, listen, here's what I'm going to tell you. If it ever looks like I was changing my tire and I got hit by a car, automatically think it was a murder. Like I am not going to be one who goes and like changes a tire. So that would feel terrible to me if that was my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are my things. I know. I kind of took a rabbit trail to that, but that's where that is. Your turn.
I love it. Well, the things that matter to me are relationships. The things that matter to me are the spending time with people, the helping people, the going back to my story, like how I've been created. Like it's so important to me. I had to refine who I was, like legitimately my identity, and a solid foundation of the identity and who I know that I am didn't become apparent to me until literally a year ago. And I have an idea, like I understand the different parts of who you are. Like even what the Bible says, like it's you're loved and you are accepted and you are pure, holy, and blameless before God, that you are a daughter of the Most High King. And what if you truly grasp onto those words and the magnitude of what that truly means, that too is life-changing. But to make it personal because every single person is different. You have a different identity, and then you also have a different purpose on this planet. So finding what that truly is for me meant I did a lot of introspective searching, healing, breaking through a lot of bondage that was holding me back, that was clouding my judgment, was forcing me to believe lies about myself because of the hurt that I was receiving from other people, and then bringing God into that instance and seeing where Jesus was in that room when this and that happened.
Yeah,
listening to what God is saying about me, confessing different lies and beliefs and identity statements that I even believed about myself, that my identity wasn't Shauna the basketball player. My identity isn't even Shauna as a woman. Like that's not truly my identity. It's listening then to God and hearing him say, I've chosen you to set people free. And that's not because I created that. That's not what I manifested. That's what I believe he told me. And so there's an element where I think this has to be a faith piece for sure, to truly know who you really are, because you're listening to the voice of God that created you. And then once you can understand that identity of who you are, then it becomes okay, what's my purpose? What's my why? So I can help set people free in any capacity. What job does that look like? It can be anything. It could be in the workforce. It could be in the business field. It could be in the athletic realm. It could be all those different things.
Yep.
But what do I want it to be? So then it transitions into what really matters about, or what really matters to me. So you joke a lot and you you say that we're not certified life coaches.
Right.
But that is truly a passion of mine. Because
I know, mine too. Yeah.
And one of my passions is always like, I love mentoring and discipling people. Like, that's just something I've always enjoyed. It was college students, it was high school students, now it's young adults. And it's just kind of moving up into whatever age realm that I am, right? And so then I started looking, well, can I do this as a job? Like, can I do this in the business world? So I started pursuing after jobs that would be in the realm of life coaches.
Right.
But then I found, as I put myself out there, I loathe the business world. That's just not me. I don't want the 9 to 5. I don't want other people's expectations put on me. Like, I know I could do that job, but also the doors were being closed. So I'm like, okay, that's also an answer.
Right. Absolutely.
But I agree with you. Like, the belief statement in that I have to be in it. Like, I've got to be passionate about it. I've got to believe in whatever X, Y, and Z is. I've got to, like, I know a lot of people, and we've talked about briefly, like the Enneagram, there's Myers-Briggs, there's one thing that I really spend a lot of time in is strengths finders. So just knowing how you operate, knowing how other people operate, and being able to bring that to life. And I'm top 3 of my strengths finders are belief, it's restorative, and it's woo. I'm a big wooer. And so it's like, I really want to be able to connect with people. And then my structure, my foundation is really based heavily on what I really believe in. So that's very vague as far as like what specifically my passion is. But I've got to be able to understand all the peripherals before I can really pursue after one thing. If that makes sense.
I love it. No, for sure. And that is, so you can do that. You could be a wooer. You could be, what was your other words?
Restorative.
I like woo. Restorative.
Belief. Belief is my top.
So you can do that wherever your feet are planted. So I'm encourager, helper, influencer. So I can do that. And my favorite place to do that is on my couch upstairs by my fire pit. No, it really is, because it's just that intimate one-on-one. It's where I love doing that. And to where I have said, like, I want to be the girl who will invest in you, and I will give you my energy, my encouragement, even the extra faith that I have in you until you get it for yourself. And then you take it, you run with it, and you do the next thing with somebody else, and so I can do that in different business settings.
Right.
Just wherever my feet are planted. Exactly. I get it. I love it. I love that.
So what really makes you tick then? Like, what lights you up? There's a question that I've always been asked to truly find your passion is like, what would you enjoy doing even if you didn't get paid for it?
Sitting up there on that back deck.
Okay, but you still have to make money. So let's add that in there. Let's put that caveat.
I'm going to just take a little cover charge.
But
$2. Come upstairs.
Bring it back around too. You do still have to provide. So how would that look for you in a job realm and not just
in a job realm is this educating, speaking, training model, however that needs to look like. Professionally, what it is for me is in my professional of my aesthetics career, whatever, it is training on products and modalities and services to be able to have somebody catch that for their own professional acumen and then grow that into their own business and believe in it. Because what we get to do in my profession, which is so fantastic, is we are hands-on. We are invited into an intimate setting immediately. Like, where else do you go that you walk up to a stranger and say, take off all my makeup, pull my hair back, and touch my face while I just lay down? Like, that's weird any other place but in my profession, right?
That's very weird.
And it's vulnerable and it's intimate. And then when you create a trust immediately, it really is this therapeutic life coach application of skincare, whatever that needs to look like. I love that. I love it. And so for me, that's what I love. It really, no, I love it. No. It really
you can
is.
tell. Like, I love, like, you can even just seeing you, like, you can see your body language, your intensity, like your eyes light up, you lean in, right? Like, there's things that, like, when you become passionate about it and you can tell, like, all of those things, you're just like, I said, yep, I get it. She found it. There it is.
I like it. Yeah. But I also think I'd be super good at giving you a cup of coffee and being like, go get today. You know, like I really do.
Or what did you say the other week? You said that you were trying to be something and you couldn't. Yes. You'd be great at that too.
There's a couple things that the world has missed out on. Letting me be a wine pourer at Cooper's Hawk. Letting me be the hot dogger for Oscar Mayer Wiener. Like I would love to do that.
One of my missed opportunities too in life is becoming a mascot. I really wish I would have done that when I was young. Yeah. I totally agree.
I know. One day you'll have to ask Taylor because I made him be his 8th grade mascot in school.
You made him. He's there with a pouty look on his face. No energy.
We couldn't tell because he was a lynx, so you couldn't tell. He had the hat on.
Mom made me
but and then he had a little stunt at Chuck E. Cheese, and he got to be the mouse sometimes too. But which could be why we are in a heap of trouble with him right now. I don't know. But
anyway, back to that mascot. Damn you, Mom.
Okay, so what about you? Like, what makes you tick?
Yeah,
what makes you? What would you like to do for free? But you'd really like a paycheck.
Life coach.
Which this is
kind of what we're doing.
This is such a gold star for me. The only thing I would like better is if we were in front of an audience.
This really is it, because
I
have two things. So literally what we're doing, like, because I feel like we can make an impact with people, be relatable, even if we're not face to face in front of them, but doing that in laughter, lightheartedness, but life giving. And I think that's the whole premise of what we are doing. And we would like to get paid for it at some point. So that's why we're continuing on. But that's not our heart behind it. Like, that's what we are doing. The other thing is, I know, and you've heard me say this thousands of times, but I love to speak. I love to be in front of people. That's the adrenaline rush that I get. Like, it's kind of the same feel before I get out on the court to play. It's when I get out on the stage to speak, it's that same adrenaline rush that I love, but you can still influence people, even if it's not one-on-one. But kind of shifting a little bit is I love using my hands. So I love, I would enjoy being a mechanic. Like, I would enjoy doing things with my hands.
Are you serious? Things. I don't know this.
Yeah, like the things, like, and this probably would be more of a hobby element, but I used to love woodworking stuff. I love building things that doesn't take too much detailed interest, because that also is overwhelming. It's kind of like, boom, 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 let's get it done. But I love seeing something, using my hands from start to finish and seeing the end result. Like, that's something I really enjoy doing as well. Something active. Like, I even pursued after working for the Postal Service and being a mail carrier, because it's active. You're outside, but I live in Seattle, so it's cold and rainy. I don't want to do that. But little stuff like that I could do as a job if I needed to just pay bills.
Right.
But then that provides an opportunity and the means to do something that I'm truly passionate about. So it doesn't mean, like, as we're talking about passions, it doesn't mean that this is what you have to do for your job, your 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
This is something that's like, you might have your 9 to 5 job, your whatever it is that pays the bills, it does your thing. But if that then enables you to do something that you are passionate about, like a lot of people, right? They volunteer at a local Boys and Girls Club, or they volunteer at the underprivileged inner city youth programs. Like, those things aren't going to be money makers, but that's what gives you purpose, and that's what gives you passion.
Yep. And it kind of does balance out this place of like, well, I was listening to this podcast yesterday, and she was like, so here I was an adult and I was not working. She was like, that's not how adulting works. She was like, we have to figure it out. And I was like, I get it, to where, but again, we don't have to live in that generational thing to go, I never can. Like, this has to be the way the machine is. No, working here can get you to here.
Right.
And those things really can collide, which is the beautiful world that we live in right now. Yes. Because you know what her job is?
What?
She is a poet and an Instagram influencer.
Wow.
And that's now her job. She writes poems. It's amazing.
Wow. Good for her.
So, like, can you imagine telling our grandparents, like, when we're graduating from high school? So, what are you going to do? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write poems, but now you're like, yes. So anyways, that's that. Okay. Moving on. I love it.
Last question.
When
you look back on your life, whether you're 60, 70, 80, what will stick out in your mind as the most important?
It's going to be being a mom. It's going to be loving those people that God gave me the absolute joy to be loved by.
Yeah.
And so the first in that circle are my first four. Like those are that's my nucleus. But then also like I just want to be known as the girl who I loved real well. So, and that can be outside of that, but my first is those first four for sure.
Yeah, mine absolutely has nothing to do with a job. It's all relationships. I mean, that's what you take with you. Those are the memories that you remember. Those are the lives that, you influenced.
Yeah.
Whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's people that you really don't know a lot. You don't know well, but you helped usher them into freedom, or you helped usher them into healing. Like those are the people that are just imprinted on my heart. And I know that I would look back. I'm not going to look back at basketball. I'm not going to look back at whatever job I do or don't have in the future. I don't have kids, but I know that will be the case, of those creating humans that will be world influencers. Like that's my dream for those little buggers whenever they come and decide to pop up. Yep. But I mean, that's what I know will stick out in my mind. And there's a book I'm reading. It's called The Rest of God by Mark Buchanan. And I wanted to just read a little snippet towards the end of this chapter. And it's talking about wisdom, wisdom of the wise. And there's a scripture verse from Proverbs, and it just says, "The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception." Mm-hmm. And the wisdom of the wise is to give thought to their ways. That means they think about where they're going. But the folly of fools is deception, and that means they keep lying to themselves. Mm. So it continues on, it says, "Wise people ask, does the path I'm walking lead to a place I want to go? If I keep heading this way, will I like where I arrive? Fools don't ask that. They keep making excuses for themselves, justifying and blaming all the way to nowhere. They dupe themselves right to the grave. They never change their minds, consider their ways. That's a wise Sabbath liturgy. And let me make it even more specific. Consider your thoughts and attitudes, the pattern of them, their shape and drift. Are they leading you to where you want to go? Plot their trajectory. Will they land you in a place you care to live? If not, change your mind. Take a moment right now. Begin with David's prayer even. Search me, O God, and see if there's any wicked way in me. Invite the Spirit to search you, reveal the habitual thought, one attitude of your heart that's misleading you. It may be shame, a sense that you must keep hiding, keep avoiding the light. It may be pride, or a temptation to judge others, or an insecurity that drives you into envy and rivalry. It may just be the sense of insignificance, that no one sees you, not even God. It may be how you see God. Whatever it is, ask God to change your mind. End with the rest of David's prayer and lead me in the way everlasting." I think it was just, it was a really good mind bender for me this morning. That's just, even though, ask yourself those questions. Like, first, the first part of that is, even if you are asking those questions, that's wisdom. Yeah. Because fools don't care. Like, they just kind of squander their life and do whatever. They don't stop and think. But the thoughts and your actions, looking at the trajectory of those and seeing, like, do I like where that's going? Simple. If you do, stay there. Great. If you don't, let's readjust.
And here's the other thing that I, again, being 45 and having just a different life of that is I want to give you full permission, 100% permission from a girl who, again, didn't have it. So I found it in myself, is you can press pause on your life. You can. You 100% can. If you feel this place of burnout, of decision fatigue, any of these things of if you have an internal red flag going up, if you keep going down this path, it's not good for you. Press pause. Get out of things. Really minimize your life and take an evaluation. If you are responsible for a family, stay responsible, but knowing that burnout, any of those things isn't going to serve anybody well at all. And so one of the things that in 2013, I came off the road from traveling, and I mean, to tell you, like, I was the little girl, the young woman who was like, somebody please stop your life enough to see that I am drowning. Like, I am doing the best I can every day to get enough air, right? And I said, I need to go to, and this sounded so weird. I see it now. Like, I understand to be like, what? Because I had been traveling. And so I came off the road, but I said, I need to go to a retreat. I need to go somewhere. I need to be filled back up. I am so beyond depleted. I need some help. Yep. And it was not allowed. And so what happened was just a complete explosion. I needed a pause. Like, I even started saying, like, I need a pause. And so being a girl, being the one who lived it, who didn't get a pause, who didn't enforce it for myself enough, because let me tell you, I got a pause later. I'm still living in a pause that was a forced pause that I do not like all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you need it, pause your life.
Yep.
Because destruction can happen from
totally
that, whatever.
That's good. That's really good insight. And you're knowing, again, it really revolves and goes around boundaries, because
Absolutely.
You're responsible for you. Like, the flesh
Yep.
of your skin is where your boundaries, your responsibility, with the exception of parenting.
For sure.
But your boundaries, what you're responsible for, is within your flesh and inside. So if that's not going well, that's got to be the first priority.
Yep.
It has to be that. That's really good insight.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if we completely dropped the mic and walked away on all of our passions talk. I think we did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to continue this conversation on episodes to come, and just trying to help, again, usher people into a freedom or a sense of awareness or a sense of belonging in, where do you go from here when you're kind of lost in what you want to do, or and who you've become, even though the person you are becoming is a real you, and kind of how to navigate through that. So
that's right.
Well done, my friend.
Well done.
And
okay.
We already did talk a little bit about Little Did I Know, but I still would like to know your wins and maybe your losses for this week.
Well, my win is, it is going to be loud and proud. Like, you're not going to be able to walk away from not knowing this, but you are coming to Kansas City in a matter of hours.
I know. That's actually my Little Did I Know statement, because I really don't know what's going to happen this week.
No. The text of joy for my life this week was when you said on Sunday, you go, B, next Sunday we're hanging. And I was like, oh, no. So, it's just, the lists are being made, everything is being prepared and ready for you to come to Kansas City. So
it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. Now, again, this loss, which I go back and I listen to our podcast because, I want to grow from them. I want to have notes from them, all of this kind of stuff. I also hope to create sponsorships, by how we hashtag. Come on. But this weather situation that I talk about all the time, I do not know what has happened to me. But the rain in Kansas City is ridiculous. We're getting floods. It's just,
you're talking about rain to girl who lives in Seattle.
Which is so dumb. I'm like, this should not be my city. I should know this from you. But we also know, disclaimer, that it doesn't always rain there, and it's beautiful.
It is actually
but
really
people
beautiful
don't
today.
move there because we're coming and we don't want it to be any more congested. But what was I going to say? Anyways. Oh,
it's so training.
I have wood floors upstairs, and the dogs have a doggy door, so they come in and out. I can tell you every track that they have because of the mud. And today I'm like, I don't care. Like I can't mop it again because it's going to keep happening. So that's my wins. And my win, let me tell you, my win topples any loss. So
yay! Because that's actually part of my, like, I don't have a loss today. I mean, I feel like I have losses a lot to share. I've just really filtered them. But today, I'm just going to say, screw the losses, wins only. Because today and tonight, I'm going to my Cubs and Mariners game, which I've been stoked for since the month of December. And I'm coming to Kansas City this weekend, and it's going to be an epic time of our lives.
Yes. In the back of my mind, the Dirty Dancing Time of Our Life soundtrack just started playing.
Time of my life.
I'm gonna lift you up like this. And that's exactly how it's gonna be. Cannot wait. I cannot wait. We're getting the tribe together. So you're gonna hear this after it happens, but don't fret. Don't you fret at all. So there we go. Okay. So do you have a little did I know?
My little did I know literally is little do I know what this week is going to hold in store because I don't. That's just the truth. So that's just it. That's just going to be where I land.
Mine is I'm just gonna stay there with you because little do I know as well.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, great job today, my friend.
You know what? I like being a what is it called? A lay life coach. You know, like how they have lay ministers, like a lay life coach. Yeah. So it's just something that I do on the side. I'm glad that I get to do it with you.
It just makes it that much more entertaining.
But really, like, I love the heart of this message. Again, I think one of the best things, and I think you and I have learned this because of application, is digging yourself out of the darkness, out of the pit, out of the changes, all of those kind of things. Is the meaningful part of that is going back and linking arms with the girls who are in it too, who are figuring it out. Like, we're not going to just keep running forward. We're going to come back and encourage. And, you know, it's one of those things that I love when, just kind of a little biblical right here, but when the woman at the well, like, she went back and told everybody, and then everybody came, and, you know, it was just one of those things that I've always said to myself of like, when I get the revelation, or if I get a word, or if I have encouragement or whatever, like, I don't want to run with it by myself and be like, oh my gosh, great and glorious day. You know, I want to go back and I want to tell people, and I want them to experience that too, because that's too good to keep to myself. Yep. And so I think out of everything that is the premise of what we do here is, it's too good to keep to ourselves.
Yep, I agree.
Like, go back. And so let this be a voice to the dialogue that's already going on, the permission that's already going on, and create some lists and really dive into that. We're going to do that the next couple weeks, and just some discovery. So Good job, B.
Good job to you too. Well, where can they find you to learn more about you, my dear?
Friday at 3:15 in my Cadillac. I'm coming in hot. So you are literally and physically going to find.
Oh, you're winning this one there.
But I know. But if you are searching the World Wide Web, I can be found at Steph K. Parks on Instagram and Stephanie Parks on Facebook. And I want to say this. So on Instagram, we are Little Did I Know. You can find us on Instagram. We are really close to getting to a really big number of followers. And I would love it by the next time that we record that we are at that triple digit number.
So you're setting goals.
So I am nothing if not a goal setter. Thank you. So there you go. That's me.
That's nice. All right. I'm Shauna Zola Mahaley. You can find me there at Facebook and on Instagram. And we thank you for your listening ears today and moving forward. Have a wonderful week. We know we will.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we will see you next week with more wisdom and some fun stories from Kansas City's epic weekend.
Woohoo! Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.